Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Today I'm going to focus on the post that I made yesterday in regards to the student who is in the middle. They're not great academically, but they aren't in need of special education services. So that's going to be the focus today. Now, for this type of student, this student would benefit from tutoring because this kid is in the middle. It would benefit this student to have tutoring. This student may need that constant repetition and practice of skills learned so that they can learn to master those skills because they're constantly practicing them. So this student would benefit from tutoring. Your best bet as a parent would be to talk with his or her teacher to see specifically where they are, like where they're struggling. Also, by you working with them at home, watch them do homework, you can see some areas of need as well, and you can talk with his or her teacher, talk with the counselor, and see what tutoring programs the school may offer. His or her teacher may be willing to meet with your child a couple days after school to work on these particular skills, or meet with him or her before school to work on particular skills, so that way they have that constant repetition. Your school may have a homework club or some type of club that can help your child with skills that they're lacking. Also talking to the counselor, you can get information on other tutoring programs that may be offered through like a YMCA or something like that, or just other maybe some other organizations that have a relationship with the school. They may have some type of tutoring programs. Also, college students, they make great tutors. However, if you can't afford a tutor, because tutoring can be expensive, you can perhaps ask his or her teacher if they don't mind working with your child on specific skills. Another thing as a parent that you can do is I would highly recommend that you talk to your child's teacher about the teacher as well as the principal about the RTII program at his or her school. RTII stands for Response to Instruction and Intervention Program, and it's a program that all schools have. So, and it's a comprehensive, multi-tiered program to help students that are struggling academically as well as behaviorally. And there are 3 tiers. So basically, there's a tier 1, a tier 2, and there's a tier 3. So basically, in this program, the students who are in the middle, low, or in the middle, not necessarily needing special education services, some who are low, again, not sure if they need special education services or not, they have all schools have a RTII program, and they may call it something else. And they're in certain periods throughout the day where they focus on these particular students and their needs. So again, it's 3 tiers: tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Tier 1 is more of standards aligned instruction. So basically, they look at the students' data, and majority of the time the data is perhaps benchmarks, past PSSA scores, or any other standardized testing that they have done. So they'll basically use that data to see where your child is, and they'll start from there, working on those specific skills, having small groups, small flexible groups. And each tier, when you start that service, the minimum amount of time is about 8 weeks. So that's 2 months. So that is enough time to see if this particular support is working or if it's not working. So it can go anywhere from 8 to 15 weeks depending on how your school does it. Now let's say your child is doing well in tier 1, getting that extra practice, their line practice. They'll do it again for another month, and then if your child no longer needs that, then they will stop that particular service. Now, let's say your child is in tier 1, getting the support in tier 1, and let's say 2 months have passed, and they're not really doing that great. Then your child will get moved to tier 2. Tier 2 of the RTII program is more it's more not standardized. What do I want to say? It's more strategic. So in this tier, they will actually implement a research-based intervention. Okay, so for example, a SRA program like corrective reading or corrective math, those are research-based interventions. They will implement the intervention. And now the flexible grouping will be much smaller. So in tier 1, where you had maybe the max of 10 students, in tier 2 you're going to have like 5 to 8 in this group, because you're getting that student more attention with his or her needs. And you do the intervention, how the intervention is supposed to be implemented, and you do it for a certain amount of time. Now tier 2, they may do it 3 days a week or something like that, for maybe a half hour or 45 minutes. Okay, and again, you do it for at least 8 weeks, which is 2 months. Okay, so anywhere from 8 to 15 weeks. So let's say after the 8 weeks they're doing very good, do it for another 30 days to make sure that they are doing well. Okay, and now let's say, and if they're doing well, they will present the information to you, the parent, to let you know how your kid is doing with this particular support, and filling in the holes and all that. Now let's say they went through tier 1, they're in tier 2 now. In tier 2, they're still struggling. They go to tier 3. Tier 3 is more intensive. Now tier 2, you had a group of approximately 5 to 8. In tier 3, you may have less than 5 particular students in tier 3. And tier 3 is more intensive. Now tier 3, they may do the same intervention that they did in tier 2, but they're going to do it way more in tier 1. So let's say in tier 2 they were doing it 3 days a week. In tier 3 they may do it 5 days a week, and they may do it longer. Instead of doing a half an hour, we're going to do it for 45 minutes. Or instead of for 45 minutes, we're going to do it for a whole hour to see if this helps this particular student. Now, with the RTII program, I would say from my experience, some people who do work in schools, they feel like the end result of the RTII program is special education, which is not the case, because by implementing these interventions in a timely fashion, when you see the student showing a need and you see the student struggling, by implementing interventions, proper interventions, and accurately progress monitoring the kid, you can help this kid. Special education is not the end result. Like, okay, I'm going to hurry up and go through tier 1, I'm going to hurry up and get this kid through tier 2, I'm going to get this kid through tier 3, and boom, they're going to be in special ed. No, that's not really the mindset of it. The RTII program is implemented to help those students who are in the middle, and help those students who are low, who are considered low. So that's what it is. Now, some schools will look at the program going tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then tier 4 being perhaps having a meeting with the parent and recommending, okay, showing the parent the data. We did this for this amount of time. We got these results. We moved them to this tier. We did tier 2 for this amount of time, and we have these results. And then we moved them to tier 3 because of the results from tier 2. And we put them in tier 3, and we did tier 3 for this amount of time, because by showing parents your data, your progress monitoring, that helps the parent to see, okay, I see that you did this, and my kid is still struggling or whatever. Okay, perhaps we're going to ask the parent, okay, we recommend he be evaluated to see if there is something else keeping him from grasping what is being instructed to him. Does his or her need some specially designed instruction to help him grasp the curriculum? Okay, so if your child is in the middle, they're not doing great academically, but they're not in need of special education services, again, this kid probably would benefit best from tutoring, consistent tutoring. So it doesn't mean, once a week. No, this student may need 3 days a week of tutoring, depending on